I'm a nerd, What do you expect? I have a
Absolutely.
wand. Yes, I do. Uh,
Absolutely.
hey, everybody. This is the grab bag for the first to last, the Nerdom, where we talk about all things nerd. If you were looking for something different, then maybe you've come to the wrong place, but maybe, just maybe, you've come to the right place. And we're going to talk about this is going to be our gaming episode. We didn't
Yep.
plan it. We didn't do anything, but everything sort of kind of come at us all at once. And yeah, we'll talk about a few other things. So if you're not big into gaming, you maybe skip ahead, or you can watch through this, or whatever. And we'll get into some cringe stuff. We'll get into some our picks of the week as far as YouTube
Yep.
channels, books, comic books. We'll talk a little bit about everything. So yeah, if you don't like something, just skip ahead, skip back, skip around. It's not going to hurt our feelings.
Not at
And
all.
also down in the comments, tell us what you like best. If you like this gaming channel and want gaming content that we're going to do here, and you want more, let us know. We're here to cater to you as long as it's in the Nerdom universe. We'll talk about it, and sometimes we'll creep out of the universe as well occasionally. If it's interest to us or you, just let us know. And
Yep.
Mike, I ran on at the mouth long enough. What say you?
Yeah, I just wanted to second what you're saying about our content, and we have definitely expanded the scope of nerddom, because the initial definition when we came in was you just can't help but have a little bit of creep as you cover more things. But yeah, just kind of like real quick, I just wanted to kind of just give a really quick off the top synopsis of like a couple of the games. I know you have a rave review about it. I am waiting forward to be able to play it here soon when I can get some more time freed up this coming weekend. But aside from that, the two big ones were the Harry Potter game, which is Hogwarts Legacy. And I'll just read real quick. It's open world RPG, highlights in the WW universe. You know, with Harry Potter, it's on everywhere you are. For the most part, if you have something new,
Yep.
newish,
Broke.
you,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
breaking all the records.
yeah, yeah. Well, and you know, it's wide available, so it's even a generation back too. Like, so you have your PS. I have a PS4. I still have an Xbox One.
Mhm.
For
Well,
sure. Yeah,
there's a catch to that.
yeah.
I will be using this as a pointer for the rest of the show.
It sounds good to
Be
me.
prepared.
Yeah.
I've already got it out of the box. It's gonna stay out of the box. But 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 yeah. So here was my dilemma. I had a PS4 like you. I have
Correct.
a Xbox One X, which is sort of a
Hmm.
mid tier. It's not an Xbox One, and it's not a Xbox Series X, which is the newest, and
Right.
it's not a
Series
Xbox
S and
Series
Series
S
X.
either.
Yes. Right.
It's that one between. It was the 4K version of with the better processor and
Nice.
graphic processor than the Xbox One. It's the Xbox One X. So I figured that one would be pretty good at handling the game. And then I also had my Alienware PC, but it's like 6 years old, so
Right.
it's not top of the line anymore. So when the game came out, I was like, okay, well, I'll get it for my Xbox One X. But here was the catch: you could play it. It came out February 10th, but if you pre-ordered the special edition, you got to play it 3 days earlier. But if you
Oh.
wanted to wait for the PS4, Xbox One version, that last generation version, it doesn't come out until April 4th.
Oh, that's what I was.
So,
That's what I
yeah,
remember. There was like
yeah.
something
So
about like a couple in a couple months.
yeah. So I said, okay, well, I had gotten this other PS5 game on my PC. And if you were one of the lucky few, you could have saw me try testing, streaming on it. The Tokyo Ghostwire game.
Mm.
And it ran fine on my PC. So I was like, well, how graphically intensive is Harry Potter? I'll get that for my PC. And it ran, but at the lowest settings, and it stuttered a lot,
Right.
which I found out later that's a common problem with the PC version of this game. So I was like, okay, well, it's playable, but I don't know. I love the game, so I put in like 15 hours on it in
Oh
this
wow.
this this kind of handicap version of it. And then
Right.
I was like, okay, well, I love this game. I want to keep playing, but I don't really want to continue playing on the PC. What are my options? And I started looking, and I was like, well, how readily available is a PS5 now? And famously, if you followed or tried to get a PS5 in the past couple of years, it's you were either having to camp out on the Walmart.com or Amazon.com and click rapidly to get it and maybe get it, or you bought it at exorbitant prices on eBay.
Right.
But PS5s are, as long as you don't mind getting the version with God of War Ragnarok, it's readily available. I went in and I saw it on Target available at my local Target, so I
Nice.
I pre-bought it. I ran out. I picked it up. Because I didn't really want that box, that big PS5 coming to my door and setting out on my doorstep until
Sure.
I work at night, so I sleep during the day. So obviously they're going to deliver it while I'm sleeping. So I didn't want a PS5 setting out on my doorstep all
Don't
day
blame me.
and risk someone going by and getting a 5 finger discount on that thing. So
No kidding.
so I went to Target, but then you always have those fears of going out with your PS5 and someone hijacking it off you in the in the parking lot. And I hadn't been Target since before the pandemic. I that Target, it's seen better days.
Yeah.
uh, as far as the park, the I'd say clientele, maybe. I don't know. So I was like, I need to get out of here. So I was heading out to
Sure.
my car and I was stuffing it into my trunk, and I hear someone, "Excuse me, sir." I go, "Oh no, what's going on?" So I turn around. It's this little guy with a little bucket and a squeegee, and he's wanting to clean my windshield. Dude, I don't have any cash. Let me get out of here. So
Right.
I did Wingardium Leviosa, and then and made him vanish, and I raced home and plugged in my PS5, and I got it before I started work. I had a few hours before I had to work, and so I played that game as much as I can. And then with scheduling and I'm going to have to work quite a bit more before I could dedicate some quality time with this game.
Sure.
But there seems to be like these handicaps in my way everywhere I turn. But I have sunk in quite a bit more time into it, and I've caught back up to where I was in the PC and found a lot of stuff that I'd skipped over or overlooked. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, which I know you're not really a big one, there are houses that you could pick, and Harry Potter was famously a
Right.
Gryffindor.
Right on.
So I let the hat sort me the first time in the PC game. They picked Ravenclaw. I really wanted to be a Hufflepuff, but I was like, okay, well, the hat said Ravenclaw, so I'll go with that. But this time I said, hey, hat, no, I'm going to be Hufflepuff. And really enjoying being a Hufflepuff. The common room
Okay.
is reminiscent of a Hobbit village, a Hobbit little housing with the round doors and and we're in the basement. And I don't know if there's quite a bit of difference if you pick a different house, even
Hmm.
with your friends that are in the common room and in the story. Actually, there's a certain do you have your side missions, you have your main story, and in the main story it depends, at least between these two. There's a difference. There's a big plot point that takes place a little bit into the game, and it plays out completely different in the when I was a Ravenclaw. It wasn't really a big plot point, but in Hufflepuff, I guess they gave Hufflepuff a lot of love because I got to go to the prison Azkaban as in this version of the story. So
Okay.
that was
Cool.
exciting and really elevated the story a little bit, in my opinion,
Right.
at that point. So yeah, I'm loving it so far. I've talked on long enough. What say you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I heard this, and like anything, there's always going to be an outrage,
Oh yeah.
machine out there. And that's whatever. People are entitled. Totally, you're entitled to your opinion or whatever. But at the same time, people like to have fun too, and like to do exactly like blow off some steam or whatever. or just enjoy something that you really love, just like Dune. Like I know we've talked about the Dune video game. I haven't really had too much time to play it, but my son has, and he's enjoyed it. So that was good by me. My
Uh-huh.
kiddos aren't really into. It's not that I don't. It's not that I like or don't like them. I just don't know too much about it. Like I think I've seen
Yeah.
like maybe three-quarters of any given one of the movies that have been
Yeah.
out. I just haven't seen it from start to finish. And at some point, I'll probably revisit it someday. But it's cool. I get it. Like there's the house Gryffindor and Slytherin, and and the Harry Potter nerds are awesome, and that's another part of nerddom. So I celebrate that for sure.
Yeah.
And I actually was reading here, and in like not only is this is like breaking all kinds of records here. I just put up a random news article current to us today, this date here in late February, and it's pretty crazy. Like it's already broken a lot of records, and they say that it's not even hitting its stride yet. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really happy from the standpoint of being a fan. This is like Warner Brothers thing. Like I want to see them succeed in general, and make good content, or
Yeah.
help support that thing. So
Yeah.
looks like
Yeah. There's Mhm.
there it's a good one to
Uh-huh.
immerse yourself in.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those games. It's like there's certain games that kind of captures an audience and
Hmm.
really just uh, grabs them, and it creates a an experience unlike any other. Even though this is an open world, single player open world, very much like any other open world game, like Assassin's Creed or your Grand Theft Autos.
Right.
But there's certain things that just makes when it coalesces into that perfect something. I remember like there's certain games like say Zel the I forget which
Was
Zelda
it
game it was.
Breath of the Wild or whatever, the last
No,
big
it
one or
was
whatever?
on the N64, the
Oh, okay.
Ocarina Time. That
Yeah.
game
Right.
it just totally overwhelmed me, and I just loved that game and played it to death. It just became my life for a while there.
Sure.
Same thing with Grand Theft Auto 3, that first big open world game that
Oh yeah.
it just
Yeah.
it sees you. It just was that whole world. You just wanted to live in it for a while, and
Yeah. That was Fallout.
that's
That
yeah.
I've had that experience
Mhm.
with Fallout, with
Yeah,
the SOCOM series back in the day. Even Call of Duty, the Modern Warfare, like all those. Just having fun and enjoying it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and
They
so
just
this game hits it out of the park. Obviously there's been previous Harry Potter games. I know a lot of people call it Harry Potter. Harry Potter has nothing to do with this game. It's set in the
yeah.
1800s, way before Harry Potter. So
Well,
it's Hogwarts Legacy, but that just triggers, the normies know what it is if you say it's a Harry Potter game.
right.
But it's if you don't like the world and don't like, you're not going to get what's good about it. It's if you enjoy that world, that's where it's going to tip off you. And if you're just kind of curious about it, it might envelop you as well.
Sure.
Maybe not to the certain extent as a big fan of it,
Right.
but it's one of those games the that the open world makes sense. I really like games open worlds that make sense. I really loved Assassin's Creed's Black Flag game, that
Mm-hmm.
pirate game,
Mm-hmm.
because it always made sense. If you're a pirate, you're going to look for treasure. You're going to go and do those little things, those little tasks that all games, a lot of open world games have you do a little fetch quest that really
Right.
don't make
Gopher.
sense
Right.
overall. Okay, I'm a
Endless
big gangster guy. Why am I go collecting,
endless
books or whatever?
grinding. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so when I was playing Black Flag, it made sense that I would go out of my way to search for treasure, to do all these weird things that a pirate would do. And in this game it makes sense because you're a student learning this world, so you're going to be exploring, and you get experience by just finding cool little things. So you're leveling up your character as you're just walking around the school, and it makes sense that you're doing all of that because
Right.
one, it's fun to do. It's like you remember all this stuff kind of a little bit from the movies, so it's that excitement of, oh wow, I'm walking around Hogwarts, but also you're finding little cool things in this little corner. It's like, oh wow, and then it'll pop up a little description, and the description is kind of interesting if you're into the lore. So yeah, you're I'm only a few hours in, and I'm level 21, and it's kind of cool that you level up just not by combat, but by just solving little puzzles and different things, and all the all the puzzles to me are real engaging and fun and not too complicated, and not too easy either.
Right.
But yeah, they're kind of fun to kind of figure out, and yeah, the world makes sense to me, and I enjoy the world. So yeah, that's why it's
Well,
really
I,
engaged
I
me.
I was gonna make a point too. Very rare have you had it the other way around, like where, and we're currently speaking of games and gaming, The Last of Us is out on
Uh,
HBO now,
mhm.
and it's streaming the show that is, but that's based on the video game. But very the other way around though, the inverse, where you have prior media, and then they make a video game about it. Unfortunately, the kind of the reputation that comes with that is it sucks
Oh
like it
yeah.
did for Avengers. The rare exceptions being Spider-Man, and Spider-Man 2 or whatever, the Morales Spider-Man,
Mhm.
and the younger one, I guess, as it were. But this one is good. It's always good when the same quality of prior media is also followed through in the video game,
Yeah.
because that's not always a given. Or sometimes you don't even have a video game. Like, for example, like there hasn't been a Superman video game, superhero video game in like forever.
Mhm.
Like, and
Yeah.
there's not going to be anytime soon,
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
far
there
as I
was
know.
always that rumor that I think Rocksteady that did the Batman games was going to do a Superman game, but that never came out. But that would have been really cool. Maybe it's kind of hard to maybe do a Superman kind of game since he's so overpowered.
Right,
It's always fantastic when they write a really good story about him, but it's
right,
very easy to make write bad stories because he's you have to find out ways of making that his powers engaging.
right. And
So,
you'd think you have VR with the Oculus, and the other one, the
uh
HTC one, the Vive or Vive, I don't know, whatever.
yeah, but
Yeah, the Vive, I think, or something like that. But and then you have your consoles and whatnot. But yeah, no, it's always good. I probably we'll see.
yeah,
I kind
yeah,
of got
and
a limit on my time, but if it's worth making time for, like I miss being able to game. Sometimes. So like this is kind of like a shot in the arm with this Last of Us thing.
yeah,
At some point we're gonna cover it. And I will say, uh, I have nothing but positive things to say about the whole thing. And that makes me even more excited to play the game. Hopefully, I just like it's just like you talk about being handicapped for that. Like
uh,
I try to log in. I have a PS4, and I have to call them to unlock my account because it's linked to some cell phone from God
wow,
knows when, that
yeah,
that I don't have,
right,
whatever. So I can't log in and unlock it, but I need them to. So it's a comedy of errors, and I'm not
yeah,
making a new account obviously because I'm pretty sure I have money games on that. So I don't want to. I'm not gonna
right,
do
absolutely,
that. So I was like, oh well, like PS3. So I went and snapped one up, and then set it up, and we had the game, the first part one,
hmm
and here we go. The controller's dead. So
oh
it's
no,
like, this is like something I called around, and that of course you can't get it. Go to hole in one. See, this is what I
hmm
was talking about, like where you start to fade off of like where you can't get what you need. You can
hmm
I what I really need to do is just bite the bullet and pay somebody a lot of money on the used
hmm
market
yeah,
for a original renewed refurb one, or get a hopefully a not crappy
mhm.
knockoff controller,
Yeah,
which
that's
eh,
yeah,
we'll
but
see.
that's a good segue into our one of our stories is the DKOldies story. But yeah, so yeah, as I'm going leaping forward into the future with
Right,
the PS5, Mike is discovering the joy and frustration with the retro scene with
right,
going back into the PS3 and PS2, and then and you were saying The Last of Us, which started off as PS3 game,
Yep.
and the newest version is on the PS5, so it's kind of crossed
Right.
all the way. But yeah, DKOldies is a online site that refurbishes old games and consoles. I don't know. I didn't give you the link for DKOldies,
Mm.
but you can kind of pull it up on there. But I also there's a lot. The big trend in YouTube of doing videos on DKOldies, asking if their company is a scam or not. They do have a YouTube channel, but they also have a website where you can actually, which maybe on their, you would think they would
Yep.
link the. There it goes.
Yep.
Now I'll leave it to your opinion as whether or not the claim is that they are a little bit overpriced
Okay.
on
Well,
their
you know what?
like.
I just bought a
Uh
oh, actually, you know what? Let me go back here. I just bought because and I told you privately, when I
mhm,
was there, I was like, you know what? I really miss SOCOM. I love SOCOM, PS2 era days, and I was just telling my son about this and that, and I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and pick one of these up too. I got a I got a few extra bucks. Why not? And whether whatever, at least I have it, because my fear was like I'm not going to get it anyway. Point being, they have the Sony Slim, 199. I got mine for like 150. And that was
mhm,
at the local Slacker CD and whatever here in
mhm,
St. Louis. Was still around, which is amazing in and of
mhm.
itself.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's probably $50 more, and I was gonna try to see if they had a PS3 here
yeah,
to compare.
yeah.
Anyway, but
Yeah, they do have a. If you do a search in the search window, you probably can find it. Yeah, I think they're there too. Now, what's happening is uh, their claim is that they're refurbishing these guys, and
that's not actually not bad.
right,
160. I don't know.
yeah,
Like
and
I got the
maybe
original big
uh,
fat one. I got the
yeah,
500 gig version. So and mine
yeah.
was I'm not gonna say how much I paid, but
In
suffice it to
in
say.
they may have, since the controversy, they may have kind of started readjusting the prices.
Yeah, see, you
But
can't even get
but
this one here. This is the one I got. And I did pay. I don't mind saying how much I paid. I paid a fair price.
yeah,
But wow.
but yeah. So the claim's been
Holy
in,
shit.
as far as,
Damn, that's a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
I would not pay that for
Yeah,
no.
that was and
You got to be a super fan though. But I could defend somebody who would want the random person who just thought Black Ops 3 was just amazing, or they just like the colors, probably just for the
right.
colors.
Yeah. Yeah, and
That's funny.
there's not really any controversy on
Um,
selling a
a little
game or a
overpriced.
console for whatever price. Say I could sell my console for $1,000, and if I could find someone that's willing to do that, then
Good
that's
for
not
you.
wrong. That's fair market. Yeah.
That's not bad.
But the claim that they're making on this DK Oldies is that they're claiming to refurbish these consoles,
Hmm.
which selling as is what it means. Is, I pull out my game system from the closet, make sure it works. That's as is. You buy it. If I sell it as is, then you know what you're getting. Now with refurbished, uh, the understanding is that you're taking it apart, replacing things that have gone bad on it, and also cleaning out the system. And a lot of the YouTube people currently are doing a lot of videos where they're buying these systems from this company that says that they're refurbished, and
Uh-oh.
finding giant yeah uh colonies of dust bunnies in there, and finding out where the thermal paste hasn't been replaced.
Yeah.
There's hardly any anymore, and that they're not refurbished.
You know what? I just looking over their thing, I would not give these people money. And I say that because I don't see anything about. I don't. You would think in their FAQs, you would think you would cover exactly what you just talked about, which is like,
Mhm,
what does refurbish mean? What does that mean? What does this mean? Like that's pretty standard. I don't see anything in here about that.
mhm.
So I probably would not, because I was
Yeah,
actually looking at some of their pricing isn't too bad on a couple of things.
yeah,
If you can snag it, but like, nah,
yeah.
you know what? I'll trust my Slacker CD. Okay, so for example, I bought that console. The controller doesn't work. They say I have 90 days. Not 2 weeks. I have 90 days to take that back to them and have them fix it, make it right, and they will. Because I bought and sold things from slackers before, so I would definitely pick my local person over this one.
Yeah,
How about you? Like
yeah,
I'm not gonna say if they're a scam or not, but like I'm just saying from my point of view as a consumer
right,
that I just bought something that is the exact demographic that is
yeah,
caters to. Just like old guy, reminisce, nostalgia, blah blah blah, fill in the blanks or
mhm,
whatever. No, I would not. I would not give these people
yeah,
money, but I would watch their content maybe. I don't know, but
right, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, no, I reference people to this video, Spawn Wave, which I've highlighted on our channel before on the grab bag as a YouTube pick. But yeah, he actually for 10 years he actually worked for a gaming a local gaming shop, and he refurbished for a living for
Hmm.
10 years. So he refurbished all sorts of consoles. So this guy knows what he's talking about.
Hmm.
And he kind of looked into and kind of explained what refurbish is. If you're kind of curious, it does a fantastic job. And he does whenever he gets a new console or a new controller or anything, he also kind of breaks it down, tears it apart to
Mm.
show you how it's made, how the sauce is made. So yeah, he talks about how he would refurbish something, and he talks about the various videos out there that have kind of exposed, so to speak, how they are finding that maybe they don't actually refurbish them, and he kind of explained why he's not going to actually buy a system from them to test it out and whatnot. That's not really of interest to him. But yeah,
Right.
if you want to kind of like an overview of it a little bit more than what we're going into here, his video is pretty interesting. There's a lot of people out there that are buying a bunch of yeah, it's probably a good business for them because they're selling a lot of consoles to these YouTubers that are trying to cash in on this thing. But yeah, it's yeah, you probably could find a better place to order
Right.
from. And on their refurbished and their old systems that they're selling, they only show you stock footage or stock photos. They're not showing you the actual system that you're buying. So,
Yeah.
like Mike, he went to his local place. He actually got his eyes on the system in the store and could actually see it. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
probably a better
I
better way to go.
the
And
only thing I would say that I didn't do, which I wish I would have done, which a smart person, probably a little bit older than me, a little bit more mature, would have done would have been to take the console that they're going to give you, and then take the cables that they're going to give you, and then put them in each friggin' port. Because then you can see if it's loosey goosey or whatever. Then, because
right,
had I wish I would have done that. Had I would have done that, I would have not taken the one that I took.
yep,
And I'm actually going to take it back and like it works. It boots up, but it's wiggly, and I know enough to know. I don't. Do I have the ability to open the thing up and like desolder the power thing and put a new one on there? Sure, but why?
right,
If you don't have to, and it's not like if it were in my closet, I would do that. But
mhm,
like I got to take it back because this is supposed to last like the next whatever, so I might as well go back and get whatever. And I think
yep,
you can upgrade the hard drive no problem in those. That's easy peasy. That's
yep,
user serviceable, that and not you're not going to freak out, or you don't have to like if it's a laptop. The one thing I hated about working on laptops, being in
mhm,
tech, is the ribbon cables and stuff for the
oh yeah,
keyboard.
mhm,
I hate that. And the LCD
yeah,
for the birds. Like nope.
right,
That's
yeah.
the water's edge for me. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would
and then
say
also
there
like
are other alternatives. Yeah,
like
for
you were
sure.
saying with your controller, that's another thing that they were finding. There's another YouTuber, Jacob R, that has bought a lot of these systems from DKOldies, and
Hmm.
he bought a PS3 like you, and an older one that's backwards compatible that actually plays the PS2 and PS1 games as well. That's the big sell for the old style, the original PS3.
Right.
And he it came with a controller, but the controller it came with was a third party, and that third party
Oh.
controller only works with PS3 games. You cannot play PS2 and PS1 games on that console with that controller.
Are you
So that's
serious?
Right. So
Oh,
that's
that's so
another ding
dumb.
against DKOldies for that as
Mm-mm-mm.
well.
No, 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 no. You can't do that. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah,
No,
and
you can't do that.
his channel's pretty fun.
Well, okay,
He does.
so
He's a younger guy, and he does like when he cracks it open
right,
and finds like dust bunnies, he does overreact and makes a big play with
right,
that.
right, right, right,
That really engages the YouTube audience. He knows how
right.
to play his audience, but but yeah,
Well, you know, that's
they also
funny.
put a sticker on there. DK Elders puts that sticker. It says that the warranty's void if you actually crack it open and take that sticker off,
Yeah, I don't think
which
so,
is
bud.
totally bogus and not
Right,
legal. But yeah.
right. Well, and the funny thing is that you say that about the controller for this particular video that we have in the background here. I so before they gave me or before she goes, hey, I just want to let you know for this PS2 that I'm selling you, I don't have the original controller. I don't have one. And she was like, I can do this if you're willing to wait or whatever. And she goes, are you okay with a third party controller? And I was like, I don't care. That's totally fine. I'm not, I'm not sitting here.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't care about that. That's not important to me. Maybe later on, I'll go back and I'll revisit that
Yeah.
if I choose to, probably not, but,
Hmm.
they gave me a choice. So
Yeah.
shout out to Slackers CD and
Uh-huh.
Games
Yeah.
for
Making
being
you aware of it. Yeah.
yeah, no, that was like tip top awesome. So
Hmm.
and I stopped in there like on the pretty much the end of the day on a Sunday too. So you talk about like a dead mall crowd, like some dumb guy coming through with his son, picking up some obscure thing. But anyway, yeah, shame on shame on them.
Yep.
You got to let people
Yep.
know. You got to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah. And with these systems, buyer beware, because when you're buying a used system, you can't go reparo and fix it with your wand. So that's the thing. But yeah.
Right
So
on.
yeah, the if you're interested in the DK controversy and want to get a little bit more into it, then you can. I would just say, like Mike, be a smart buyer, ask questions, compare prices. If you got, especially if on a tight budget, you don't want
Right.
to spend good money on something that's not going to be good for you. And if
Yeah.
you are technically minded, even if they say it's refurbished and are DK oldies, that Jacob R also buys refurbished games from GameStop and has found that they don't clean, they don't actually on the system,
Oh.
some of the systems he's bought aren't actually refurbished.
Yeah.
So just because they're a big company, don't think that automatically is good. He bought a refurbished. Actually, this is a good point because he bought a refurbished PS5 from GameStop, which
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at when I was pricing them because it is $50 cheaper. For a refurbished one, I decided to go ahead and pay that extra money for a brand new one. I'm glad I
Right.
did because after looking at his video, I know not to buy a refurbished PS5 from GameStop, but another person might got suckered in on that. So yeah, if you buy one of those, if you I would recommend, if you're technically capable, is cracking that open and
Hmm.
maybe doing a little maintenance of yourself, even if they
And
say they're refurbished.
what you're talking about is no more difficult, really, truly, than popping the back cover off on the laptop. You open it up, and
Mhm.
then you have your compressed air, or whatever, or even a little
Yeah,
toothbrush or a little thing, and get in there and just clear out the dust things, and then be on your way. That's about the only moving part that are in these things anyway, are the fans, and you just
yeah,
got to clear them out sometimes. And then yeah, it
yep,
can some
mhm,
stuff can, or
yep,
a vacuum cleaner, but you got to be very careful with that with the static
mm,
thing. That is
yeah.
something you do have to worry about with the
Yeah.
vacuum.
Yeah, and I think that's another sell for the PS5 is that it kind of looks like a sandwich with with those white panels
Yeah.
on the shell on the outside. Those don't have screws on them. They just pop off.
Mm,
They're kind of clipped in. So I was kind of there's you've got like I think a 800 gig drive on it, which sounds like a lot, but these games are are getting bigger and bigger. So I was
right.
looking towards putting in a SSD, internal SSD card, to expand at one point the memory, and it's going to be just popping off one of the panels, taking out one screw, and popping in the extra internal memory. A lot easier than back in the day when I added my internal memory to my PS3. That was a challenge.
Yeah, that and just to kind of give you the level of nerddom that you're talking about, and about, I remember back in the day, PS3 could run Linux, Yellow Dog
Oh
Linux,
yeah,
and it
open
was really
source. Yeah.
cool. Yeah, it was really cool up until a point. You could actually unlock it and then unlock all the cores on it, because
Hmm.
they let it run, but they hobbled it. But you could get around that, and I was like one of them nerds to do that. It was really
Yeah.
cool, but it was so dog slow. It was like,
Hmm.
aside from it was a novelty in my mind. Now there were some nerds that got serious about it and did the folding at home, really cool stuff. And eventually later on, you could crack it. And there's, I think, even a court case about it, for because Sony wanted to stop supporting it, essentially. So they eventually firmware it out, of the whole thing,
Hmm.
to where you couldn't even do it anymore, I believe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, no, it's not a big deal to pop it off, to pop it out, and yeah, it's just funny. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I'm gonna. It kind of sucks, but like, oh well. Like, and I felt bad too, because my kiddos actually had an extra day off of school,
Uh-huh.
and we're all on the same page. I think this is actually the very first show that we're all on the same page for, and
Oh,
like we're
okay.
actually
That's
like
good.
watching as a
Yeah.
family.
Hmm.
So, and like they're really into the show, and I am too. Just to not giving any spoilers away there, but it's just very entertaining, and it's kind of cool to kind of jump on that wagon. But the game is part of that, and my son is like way on board. So it just kind of sucks to like not,
Yeah.
because I want to be able to like watch the game. I played the game,
Hmm.
but it can be just as fun to like watch my son play the game, like, which is
Oh yeah,
cool. But
absolutely.
so like
Yeah.
that's a second, yeah, second layer cool, or my
Yeah.
daughter, for that matter. But in any
Yeah.
case,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's probably
compelling enough to.
it's probably especially great watching your kids play. But yeah, yeah, and then I find it fun just watching strangers on Twitch or YouTube playing video
Oh
games.
yeah,
So
sure,
watching your
absolutely.
kids play must be even that much more special, obviously.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That, and then over the years, though, that's exactly what I'll go to YouTube, and like, if there's a game that I'm kind of interested in, like that game that we opened with, I want to watch them play
Mhm.
and see what it's about, and then
Yep.
like I've got some favorite game
Yeah.
tubers, I guess you call them on you. Anyway, but
Yeah.
going from one cringe to another, I was gonna say, kind of bring it back a center.
Oh,
Um,
actually, I thought we might hit the Expanse real quick,
oh yeah, 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 yeah.
just to keep all our gaming
Let's
stuff together.
yeah,
But yeah,
let's
like Mike was saying about watching, and we actually had gotten into maybe streaming a game, and I was
yeah.
testing it out with just streaming off of my PC with Ghostwire Tokyo, and um it kind of worked.
Mhm.
It probably would have worked just with that game. I thought maybe we would do it with Hogwarts Legacy, but my PC was like looked me square in the eye and said, "Hey, listen, Tom, I could barely run this game. You're not going to stream it." so so yeah, we're going to see if we can't do that with another game, maybe play it off of a console and
Mhm.
game capture with our computer. And one of
Yeah.
the games that we're looking at is The Expanse.
Yes, and I just pulled this up because I'm going to need another this anyway. And a 980 is like nothing, or
Uh,
970 is like, that's like 4 or 5 generations back.
Yeah.
So, and I can, yeah, I know my big laptop, beefy one, that's really just it's a desktop replacement one. It's one of them big beefy ones.
Yeah.
It'll be able to handle this. But anyway, yeah, this will be good. I'm excited. That's cool. Like there was and actually you shared that, you told me about this in chat, and then my brother-in-law sent me a YouTube video of it, and I looked. It's compelling for sure. And Telltale Games, I recognize them because they did The Walking Dead,
Hmm.
and they
Yep.
also did, I think they did the Minecraft, season
Yep.
one, of
Hmm.
Minecraft, and that was very well received. My kiddo loved that back in the day, and
Uh,
I think they did a season two. Anyway,
yeah.
I played the
Uh,
Walking Dead one. It was cool enough.
mhm. Yeah.
It wasn't like amazing, but it was
Yeah.
compelling. So there, I think we're set for a good quality
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's to be a cool one to stream, because if we do get an audience, we can have engagement as far as what decisions we make within the game, because basically those Telltale games is sort of like if you were old enough to remember those books, those choose your own adventure books, where you decide where go do this or that, and you turn to a different page. So depending on your choices, you might end up dead in a bad way, or you'd find a really cool adventure. So yeah, this could be a really fun, and Telltale Games has got a long history. At one point, it did go out of business, and Robert Kirkman's company, Skybound, resurrected it from the dead,
Mhm.
living up to the Walking Dead moniker, and has brought back Telltale Games and a lot of the people that worked for them. So,
That's awesome.
um, so yeah, that should be cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, we're gonna figure out a game, and we'll get that streaming here. So stay tuned to the channel, and then I guess we could go back to the cringe, unless you
Yeah.
had something else to say.
No, 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 no.
Yeah,
No. Looking forward to it. Whenever it drops. Which is I'm trying to scan here, but whenever it drops, not anytime soon, but whenever that does. But yeah, swinging back into the cringe here.
yeah. Our
We're
old
back.
pal Def Noodles.
Yeah, and I
He
gotta.
introduced us to the cringe corner,
Yep.
and I think this is kind of the end of the saga. But
Yeah, and I gotta. Yeah. So what is going on with him? So
yep.
what was he on drugs or just not well, or I
I
guess
don't
what's the story?
I don't think I'm not sure if he came out officially, but there was rumors that he was on the white stuff, the cocaine. Uh
Oh,
and and some people are saying that he's out of rehab. I don't know if he said that himself, so I don't know if it's rumors, speculations, whatever. But this Augie RFC video, he's a commentary channel. But yeah, he covers the the last half. If you were familiar with our previous cringe corner that we did on him at the height of his insanity, this he kind of disappeared for a little while. He's back, and he's going around and on his apology tour. He's
oh,
apologizing to various um, commentary people that he disrespected.
yeah.
But the ones that he really was cruel and mean to, that really he did do wrong to, like Papa Gut, he hasn't apologized to. He hasn't reached out to them, as far as I know. So yeah, this is just a PR stunt. This is what Augie RC has kind of highlighted, that
Hmm.
he's just doing this to try to generate some good press, some good feelings towards him. It's like, oh well, if he's asking for apology, maybe he's not so bad, and he's apologizing to everybody. But at the same time, those people that were loyal to him, that were his comedians when he was doing the diss battle or whatever we were covering previously, a lot of his core members have turned on him and are saying that he never paid them, that they never got paid, that they're owed money, and that since they're kind of coming out against him, he's maybe trying to combat that bad PR with this apology thing, trying to push out push down all those complaints. So yeah, I don't know how genuine he is, but if you look at his channel, he used to get hundreds of thousands of views. His current videos are only getting 1,000 views, 2,000 views. So he's
Yeah, he's dead,
dramatically dropped.
dead in the
And
water.
when he's live streaming, now these numbers we would like to get,
Sure.
but he's getting in the 20s and 30s. He's getting
Really bad.
30 people watching him play Hogwarts Legacy, which we would enjoy. We would like 30 people watching us. But
If you
for
like
a
the
channel that
personality, right?
has 500,000 subscribers, that's a bit fall from grace.
Yeah, yeah. He sounds like he's dead in the water.
Yeah,
Never to
yeah,
return, which is fine by
right.
me. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I don't really have much to say other than that. But yeah, this is kind of
yeah,
like the cul-de-sac that is the cringe
yeah,
for
yeah.
Deaf
This is
Noodle.
yeah,
Funny.
this is kind of the rise and fall, and this is the fall. Well, he's hit the bottom. He's kind of crawling around, still trying to resuscitate. But yeah, I thought this would be a nice little thing to close the book on him. I don't think we'll talk about him anymore, but but yeah, it's just unless he does something really, really crazy and outlandish, I think this is the end of Death Noodles.
Indeed. Yeah,
Yep.
and going from one train wreck to another.
Let's put a invisibility spell on him because he's
Right,
invisible to us now.
right. Yeah, I wanted to kind of show this. This is the one from one crying to another. Disney. Well, Star Wars has having the opposite problem of Marvel fatigue, tightening his belt. Da 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 da. So this is kind of like asking the question, where is the Star Wars film? And I haven't heard anybody talk about this per se, like Midnight's Edge or anybody like that. This kind of just
Hmm.
rolled into my news feed in the Artifact app that I have. That's like a news feed, whatever AI, whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. So far, it's kind of cool, but it showed me this. And anyway, I just wanted to kind of cover the long the long of the just kind of hit the highlights of the comments. Basically, this is kind of like, hey Disney, like where's the when is the next Star Wars film? And they just kind of go through and they just kind of give vagaries of like the Rian Johnson trilogy, the this, to that. Nothing is kind of like landed. And some of the community, the discussion in the comments were pretty on point. Uh, you know, uh, what I was just trying to find like one. It, it's kind of pointing out things that are like Andor's good, but it's a TV show. And it's like it's not giving anything new. They're not really getting any traction. And a lot of the sentiment of the comments is basically there isn't really a hunger or a clamoring for an expansion of the last trilogy. Nobody's really doing
Yeah,
calling
yeah.
for it. So, but it just kind of like to me, what the whole point is, and this is kind of like a very adversarial publication from time to time, like their that Gizmodo crowd kind of folks. And I'm not saying they have bad commentary. I'm just saying the fact that it's penetrated the level of norminess that is AV Club on like a Gizmodo, that is just asking a very open question. Kind of just goes to show the paint that Star Wars kind of has this malaise going on. And that is not to take away the excitement that is the Mandalorian season 3. I think it's just around the corner.
Hmm.
But you know,
Yeah.
just kind of like
Yep.
highlighting it. I just think it's interesting
Yeah. Yeah.
to
I think it's
highlight.
I think it comes out March 1st. Yeah. I'm enjoy. I still like Mandalorian, and
Right.
we're about halfway through the run of Star Wars Bad Batch, their animated series about some clones that went bad or good, so to speak. That I'm really enjoying. But yeah, yeah, the whole shine, the excitement of Star Wars has been tarnished, and
Totally.
that's been much to the credit or discredit of the people running it. There's been a lot of people creators openly antagonizing the fans, and I think
Right.
that hurts your product. And
Yeah.
look at Harry Potter with Hogwarts Legacy.
Right.
There's vocal detractors for that franchise, and we won't get into the ins and
No.
outs of it
I.
because I don't care.
Well,
Uh,
I'll just.
but but the management, the
Yeah.
people behind Hogwarts Legacy, Warner Brothers, are not attacking either party of
Right.
that group. They're putting out a product, a good product, a great product that the fans really
They're
enjoy, and they're
letting
ignoring
it
the hate.
stand on
They're
its own.
they're not
Right.
they're not dissing it. They're not arguing with the fans. They're not arguing
Right.
with the people discrediting them. They're just putting out a good product and not getting in the fight, and that's
Not
the best way to do it.
not only that, but they stand on what they made. It's also very
Mhm.
progressive, forward, not progressive, very
Yeah.
forward-looking game,
Yep.
that is very, very wide and diverse. But anyway,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
like what I wanted to say though too about just to cut through the politics. I'm not going to pretend there's not some kind of culture war around this, because there is,
Yeah.
but I really don't care about that so much
Yeah.
as to say that I think it's a symptom of unhealthy, like when you start to have these
Hmm.
unhealthy interactions with the company and the fan and the star, whatever. when you get that, I think that's just a sign that something isn't right. And it doesn't matter where you fall on the political, cultural, whatever. I don't even care.
Yep.
But the fact is, across the board, people are kind of like, they're kind of like, uh, the sheen it's very dulled, whether you love the newer trilogies or not,
Hmm.
whether you love whether you love the fan service that you got to see Luke Skywalker CGI, which
Hmm.
was awesome. Don't get me wrong, that was great. But after a minute, you kind of look back and you kind of look over your shoulder and be like, wait a second, that was just fan service, and
Hmm.
that's fine. And I enjoyed
Hmm.
it. Don't get me wrong, but like some other folks that are smarter than me in my life pointed that out, and I was like, yeah, but I know what they're doing. But
Hmm.
like, and it's just like you can only
Yeah.
do that so many times before you realize like, and where I'm hitting up a wall with Star Wars is the expanded universe. I get it. They had to make
Hmm.
way, nuke and repave. Get it. That's fine. But the original Thrawn trilogy, it still exists and it's still out there and you can still enjoy it. So that's all I'll say
Yeah.
about Star
Yeah.
Wars. And
Yeah.
if you like The Mandalorian, great. You're gonna kind of be my unless we cover it directly for the show, unless we're gonna do it that way. But you'll kind of be my the canary in the coal mine. Like when if you say it's good and it's worth watching, then I probably will drop back in. But until then,
Yeah.
or unless my kiddos do, but
Yeah.
they're not really,
Yeah.
not really. But it is what it
Big
is.
fan.
So we'll
Yeah.
see. But anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that. But like, kind of
Right.
moving
Yeah.
on.
Mhm.
The point is that like
Yeah.
to each
Yeah.
their own.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's they're having to do a lot of rebuilding. I heard rumors that they're going to do a Grogu movie or something, which whatever. Yeah,
Oh, interesting.
it's up to them to reinvigorate the audience. The fans aren't going to do it for them at this
Right.
point because there's tension there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anyway, moving on. You want to hit this one up or
Oh yeah, I
Hellboy?
could. We could just talk briefly about it. Yeah, I just found it kind of interesting.
Hmm,
Uh, it's interesting that Idris Elba, or however you say his first name,
Idris Elba. Yeah.
Idris, yeah. Elba, he's a great actor, one of my
Oh,
favorite actors.
awesome. I love
Um,
him. Yeah.
I don't care what color he is, he's a great actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
That never factored into anything, and the fact that he has to address it in in an interview and that be a big thing is kind of interesting. He just wants to
Hmm.
be known as an actor. He doesn't care or want to get into the debate on diversity or any of that crap. He just wants to be an actor in a movie, and that's I praise him for that, for not playing into any type of politics or whatnot. He just wants to be an actor, and that's great by me.
Yeah, I echo that. And he is magnificently talented. He's been in some of my all-time favorite sci-fi rewatches. I'll call it. I'm
Mhm.
not going to call it a great film, but Prometheus, I
Yep.
always that's one I've actually shared with my kiddos, and we actually love it.
Yeah.
We think Covenant sucks.
Yeah.
Of course, most people will say Prometheus sucks too, but I actually saw a headline that said now it's back in the good graces of now it's cool, or now it's good because that's all
Yeah.
you're gonna get. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, him and it's always fun to watch him, and good for him. I agree with him. I agree on a lot of his viewpoints. Like call it out when you see it. But like he was saying there, only if it has only as much power as you allow it to. Obviously,
Right.
if it's in front of you, you confront it. You confront something egregious on the spot. Absolutely. But
Right.
anyway, moving on. Moving on to some Hellboy reboot.
Yeah. Yeah.
You okay,
That's one
interesting.
of those properties that I've always enjoyed. The Yeah, the Guillermo del Toro movies back in the 2000s, the first and second movie, I enjoyed those. But maybe they weren't quite well. They were pretty true to the source material. I didn't see that newest one. I think that came out in 2019 or 18.
Hmm.
I heard bad things about it, so I didn't really get into that one. But this one is actually written by the creator of the script is. written by Mike Mignolia, and co-written by the novelist and comic book writer Christopher Golden, who's done several Hellboy property stories as well. So
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to it. It is directed by the Ghost Rider director. I think he directed one of the Ghost Rider movies. So I don't know how well it's going to be directed, but it's going to be based off of a graphic novel story that's much beloved by the Hellboy community that I enjoyed, The Crooked Man. And so, yeah, I have high hopes for it. There's also
I
a video game coming out that's based off the comic book art
Okay.
as well. It looks very much like the comic book that I'm excited about as well.
Yeah, I just want to call out back. It's kind of been top of mind. I think I want us to review it or revisit it at some point, which is the original X-Men uh,
Hmm.
series of movies, and then the follow-ups, and then the offshoots from that.
Yeah.
That's a classic one that was a reboot that was good enough. I'm not going to
Hmm.
say that both were amazing, but it's kind of akin to like when they reboot Batman, right?
Hmm.
So like we accept that completely. So Hellboy in the film on the big screen is due for a reboot, and I have absolutely no problem
Hmm.
letting it be a new thing, as long as they respect the source material and find creative ways to
Hmm.
do whatever they want, and they have a competent director that has a good vision,
Yep.
and some decent money behind it.
Yeah.
I would absolutely show up to the
Yeah.
theater to see this
Yeah.
if
Yeah. And
there's
that's
a sufficient
yeah.
justified hype. I'll put that way.
Right. Yeah, and it's being written by the creator of Hellboy, the script. So yeah, it's
You can't get any better
hopefully
than
yeah,
that. You
exactly.
can't get you
Yeah.
can't complain. Yeah, because I saw kind of the comments down here, like, yeah, I don't agree with that. Anonymous, yeah, whatever. I think he's just trolling. That's just trolling. It's just like
Right.
nobody really actually thinks that in reality. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Going on, moving on. So, I kind of wanted to kind of catch, kind of. So recently we had the Super Bowl,
Hmm.
and the great state of Missouri, Kansas City, won the Super Bowl, and I just kind of wanted to. What does that have to do with science? Nerds. And I didn't know this, but I saw this in my news feed. Ridley Scott actually did a Super Bowl ad that only aired once, because people freaked out, and I linked to it. It's nothing special. It's just a very abstract Ridley Scott kind of take to like they're probably like, what the hell does this have to do with the car? Probably more than anything else.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I thought that was just interesting.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. I looked over that. I guess they had like the it hinted at a kind of Mad Max kind of futuristic world where he's
right, dystopian.
fighting their planes shooting at the car and whatnot, and I guess everybody was like freaked out because what's this mean, like they were worried about how that would play with the audience, and they were upset that
Right.
that there would be car violence, people speeding and shooting at each other, or whatever. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just interesting. But
Hmm.
moving on. And this kind of ties back to our stuff. I just want to kind of give a shout out here. Our latest episode, we covered Skidmarink and
Hmm.
Troll 2. Anyway, the synopsis of that is that it's a new style movie. Skinamarink is very abstract. But with that being said, there is some news in that genre. I don't know
Hmm.
which one you want to cover first.
Yeah,
Um,
we could cover Bite-Sized Nightmares. That's a website done by the writer director of Skinamarink. So yeah, if you're kind of interested in that movie, you could watch our podcast on it. But this is my video pick of the week, or a YouTube video. They basically the channel was before the movie. There's a short film that's based off of that movie's based off on this channel called Heck. So if you want to see a bite-sized version of it, you could go to Bite-Sized Nightmares and watch it. But he also would, on his channel, he would get people to give them their nightmares, describe their nightmares to him, and then he would, to his best of his abilities, to film a few minute video of their nightmares. So if that sounds like something cool and interesting to you, you might want to check it out, the channel. But that's my recommend. But
Very cool.
also This is part of the analog horror scene,
Mhm.
and along with that, there's a channel called Backrooms that we spotlighted a long while back at our start of our channel, and he's gotten a movie deal. Uh,
Yes, yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
for the
Uh,
Backrooms.
from
So,
A12, not surprised. A12 is an
mhm,
absolutely, as I've come to know them through you, they are a very high quality setup.
yeah.
I have yet to see something from A12 that sucks. I'll put it that way.
So yeah, the future's very bright. So talk about
Okay.
the end of Death Noodle's career. This is the beginning of this 17-year-old who made the Backrooms. He's still in school, so he's going to film a major movie on his summer break for A24, which very few people can say that they did that. Filmed a major motion picture on their summer break.
No
What you
kidding.
do for your summer break? Oh, I just made a
It's pretty
movie.
fantastic. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of like yeah, yeah, it's just it's pretty cool. Very
Yeah.
cool.
So if you haven't seen the short film on his YouTube channel, it's got like I think 50 million views at this point, maybe a billion, who knows. So I think everybody's seen it at this point. But if you
Sure.
haven't, go to the back rooms and check that out, and then check out his movie when it comes out. We're big fans of this guy, and we look forward to seeing this movie. And
Absolutely.
hopefully we can spotlight it on our channel once it comes out.
I think so. I think so. Absolutely. Yeah, there's some cool well, I don't know but DMZ I got to finish that, but and I stopped watching cuz it was had nothing like the comic book. But
Yeah.
that's okay. But I guess it was good in its own right. But in any case, yeah, something we'll keep an eye on. And moving on to the antidote to cringe. Was not really surprised to see this, and it makes sense, I guess, for sure.
Yeah, to circle back around on our previous grab bag, where we're trying to be as nice as we could to Justin Roiland, but further things have come out about him
Yeah,
that his coworkers have said
I
that.
heard some thing. Yeah, I heard some things involving children and minors. And once
Oh no.
you yeah once you hit that or that kind of that level, I'm kind of
Mhm.
done.
Yeah,
I'm kind
yeah.
of done
So,
being nice. Let
and
the facts.
from what this article said, that he was pretty dickish to the people that worked for him in his company,
Right.
and that I think he got so disengaged that he would have I guess like a little drone thing, a remote control car that he
Mhm.
could video from, that he kind of drove around in the office. He would stay home, and so yeah, he was from I guess the past last year or two pretty disconnected from his properties anyway, with Rick and Morty just barely finding the time to voice Morty, I guess, do the voices for the show.
Mhm.
And the thing about voices, there's so many talented people out there that they could find someone that sounds similar to him. So that's not going to be a big loss. And they said that the big thing that he would add to the show was his ad libs, but he was getting kind of not as good with that anyway. So he was pretty disengaged, and I kind of assumed that in our previous talk when I saw that there was a showrunner that wasn't either him or Dan Harmon
Right.
that was show running the show at this point. So
Mhm.
I don't think there's going to be too much of a big difference with Justin Roiland out of the picture.
Mhm.
So if you like the current quality of this previous season, I'd imagine that the future seasons are going to be very much similar to that. And I think Dan Harmon is more engaged in the show than what Justin has been in the past year or so.
Right.
Anyway,
Right. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, this is just like there's basically some more stuff. Basically, there's been some interactions that probably should never have occurred. And
mhm,
once you hit that level, with me personally as a dad, it's I don't
yeah,
care. I don't really. I am kind of like I don't need to hear anything else. You're kind of like I'm done. And
yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Um,
the phrase "you're dead to me" is apropos, I guess.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I have that opinion with another celebrity that we periodically we'll definitely be covering it in the spring when it comes out. But we'll let that be what it is in the future. No need to drag that in here. But yeah, kind of moving on. Looks like there's some more
Yep.
positive stuff to look forward to.
Yeah. They're celebrating. A lot of the characters are turning 60. In the Marvel universe, I know that Hulk and Thor are celebrating their 60th,
That's
as
cool.
well as the Avengers,
Mm,
the group, the Avengers. Jason Aaron's kind of finishing up his run on the Avengers. A lot of people are kind of dissatisfied with his run, but I'm really enjoying it. But Jed McKay, the the big star writer that has written some really great things like Moon Knight.
hmm
Moon Knight, after so many issues, continuously gets canceled. But the current run of Moon Knight, written by Jed McKay, is getting way past any other incarnation of Moon Knight, and people are loving it, including myself. He's written a really good run on Doctor Strange. Strange, which spotlighted his wife Clea, and he made that quite interesting when Doctor Strange was dead. But
Okay,
with everybody that's dead in Marvel Universe, Doctor Strange is back. He used a little bit of magic. He's back. And he's going to be writing the new Doctor Strange comic book as well. So,
very
in
cool.
my recommendations, I would look forward to and tell you to seek out Avengers and Doctor Strange. It looks pretty exciting what he's going to be doing with the Avengers and Doctor Strange. So yeah, if you miss out, all I can say is I warned you.
That's cool.
Check
Very
it
cool.
out.
Very cool things to look forward to for sure. Yeah, and that kind of takes us, I think, to my recommendation for YouTube for the show, and it's the Annie Capped, and basically, I kind of fell into this randomly. I don't know how. Well, I kind of remember the first video was like the description kind of drew me in, and it was basically a Stargate, essentially, like anime version of Stargate, and it called the Gate. I found out later on. Anyway, I watched the recap of it, and it was like a 30-minute one. Anyway, it was like compelling enough to be like, okay, I want to stop now and like maybe check this out for real.
Yeah.
But some other ones that I don't really. Basically, it's like Stargate, but instead of aliens and technology, it's magic and demons and dragons and fantasy. A good healthy dose of fantasy, I guess. So that's really kind of cool to me. But anyway, it was like really cool. And then I kind of fell into like another one that's a kind of a popular one. But anyway, I found I think I found some really cool path
Hmm.
through some of the more interesting anime. And my brother-in-law is kind of like my guide. One of these days we'll have to have him on the show for
Yep.
sure. But because he definitely knows a lot more. But like I'll bounce him up. Like, oh yeah. So like I like to try to find my own way. And I covered a couple ones before Planetes, and we covered Akira. Um,
Hmm.
so look forward to more stuff
Yep.
to cover. The only
Yep.
thing is like some of this stuff is not a movie. It's like a whole
Hmm.
several episode story arc, which is totally cool if you have the time.
Hmm.
But to be mindful of that. But I think
Yeah.
some of the cooler ones, it'll be cool to dip into this maybe later on down the road,
Yep.
for
Yeah.
sure.
That's in just to piggyback on that. I've kind of unofficially called this year for myself the year of the anime because I'm kind
Very
of
cool.
dipping quite a bit into anime. I think I've said previously on another grab bag that I'm currently watching the run of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Mm,
which is the reimagined version. There was a original version of Full Metal Alchemist that came out while the comic book was going on, or the manga was going on. The manga hadn't finished yet, so they came up with their own ending for that anime. But this Brotherhood is kind of the reimagining and following the manga completely, telling
hmm
that story, which is different. So it's been kind of fun watching that. And then I'm watching Attack on Titan, which is yeah, it's very interesting, kind of bloody. And then I've been watching Chainsaw Man, which I really enjoyed. That one's very bloody. And Junji Ito, the horror guy, he's doing a horror anthology anime on Netflix. That's been kind of enjoyable. I don't know if I recommend it just because
Okay.
his stuff is hard to go from manga to anime. Some of it gets kind of goofy.
Mm,
Horror, you have to play it a certain way, and I don't know if they've captured the right way of doing his stuff live, uh, either live action or animated. But yeah, it's been kind of interesting. Some of this kind of hit and miss. But I've just started watching Vinland Saga, which is a
okay.
Viking
Yep.
story on
Yep.
Netflix. That's an
Yep.
anime. That's really kind of interesting. I just finished watching the
Huh.
live action show Vikings Valhalla. I
Okay.
think in previous grab bags I
You mentioned it.
misspoken it and called it uh Vikings Ragnarok, which I think I was confusing it with the video game. But yeah, Vikings Valhalla, which is great. It was only eight episodes. It's been renewed for a third season, so good there. But I still need Vikings in my life, so I started watching that anime. But yeah, if you guys have any anime recommendations, give us some in our comments down below. Again, this is your anime, so I'm trying to
Yeah,
cram in as
that's
much anime as
that
possible.
that's so funny because Vinland Saga I kind of ran into and I asked my brother-in-law and he mentioned it that it was a good one to get into, but it was really, like long. So
Mhm.
Netflix actually has a live action adaptation. Is it and it's good?
No, it's animated. It's the
Oh,
animated
sorry. I'm
series.
sorry. I'm sorry. I heard
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I heard
I
you
was
wrong.
talking
Sorry.
about the live action show Vikings Valhalla.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, 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 that's
Two
cool.
different things.
But
Yeah,
regardless, I need to check that out then. That's
yeah,
gonna go
yeah,
on my Netflix watch list.
yeah.
Cool, very cool. Yeah. Well,
Yep.
I don't have too much more to say. I think we're rolling up on on everything. I think we missed anything. We covered the video game stuff, and we covered most. Was there anything else that we needed to cover?
Not that I
Cool.
can think of.
Yeah, and
Uh,
I'm rolling a little light on recommendations for Audible, like I have like the last few episodes. But that's because shout out to you. I'm really taking my time with Elric.
hmm
Because like it is just one of those like where I don't want to blow by, and I might be I might not have any Audible recommendations for a minute because I really want to enjoy it
Yeah,
and not speed
yeah,
through it. It's not one that I want to sleep on because I really enjoy it. But so
yeah,
we'll probably be dipping a toe into that. Probably not too far from now,
yeah.
because
And
I'm
I'm
really
a
excited to
little
cover
bit
that.
of. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you. I'm
You are for sure.
um about a little over halfway through the second volume,
Okay,
and
very cool.
yeah, it's the first two volumes. I think two of the novels are kind of they're trying to do them chronologically. But yeah, so there's a mix of old and new. But when you're reading it, it all kind of flows together pretty well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the
we'll
only
we'll
the
talk a little bit more in it a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, the only
later.
speed bump I had was like they did some kind of like a prologue by Neil Gaiman or something like that, or there was like
Yeah.
some kind of like a story tank thing about the schoolboy and kind of setting up the world, the proto world or something like that.
Uh-huh.
That was like what once you get past like okay, let's get to the story, please.
Yeah.
Like then we're good, and it was pretty
hmm
compelling. But anyway, we if you made it this far, like Thomas likes to say, we appreciate it very much, and we would just humbly ask you to comment, subscribe. If you like what you see, give us feedback on what you want to see on our community page. We
Yep.
periodically post things. Probably need to post a
Yep.
little bit more things up there, but
Mhm.
in any case, we're looking forward to covering more
Yep.
stuff. And
Yeah.
we recently just did this is episode 101, and this is we just had episode 100 that we published for our main bag, which was again the Skinamarink and Troll 2,
hmm
and the
Yep.
documentary for Troll 2 too. So
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot
all
of
cool.
fun with the Skidmarink one. Yeah, it's yeah, it was an experimental film. A little heavy, but we had fun with it. By inserting Troll 2 into it. I don't
Yep.
know how well that it was, but but yeah, like Mike said, like and subscribe, and yeah, if you like us, subscribe. If by chance you decide to unsubscribe, before you hit that unsubscribe, give us a comment. Let us know why you're unsubscribing,
Right.
because we would like to know. But yeah, other than that, because we like every last one of you guys, so we just would like a little some feedback. And if you have some praise for us, we promise not to get too big of an ego
Nope.
if you stroke it a little bit.
Yeah,
But
absolutely. And with that being said, I've been Mike.
and I'm Thomas, and I don't have any disappearing spells, so I'll just say goodbye.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.